Good morning, good morning, good morning. Another rainy day in Florida right now. I'd sure like to see some tropical blue skies here. But that said, I kind of want to take off on these questions you have. And you guys are getting really good. I'll tell you, you guys are understanding your own problems more and more and more. And the more I see that, the more I know you're going to handle it and you're going to be successful and you're going to get it. So I just like to congratulate you all. I love your lovely comments to me. It really means a lot. Tell you the truth, it's good support, supporting us here and keeping us going, because being a healer is unique in the sense that everyone that comes to you is in pain or suffering. Very few come in here and initially and feel good. And some are short-term on the planet, they think, and so there's just a lot of anxieties and stuff like that pour down on us all the time. So all the support and love is always good for any healer because it helps to bring them the God force too. Each one of you feed me, and then we all feed other people together, and that's how it works. It's a God thing. It's a buddy system. I love it. So there's some good questions here, and I'm going to try to read some of these to you because these are real important, and help me. We're going to be detectives. I want you to help me to win these cases, okay? Now, this is Lou Gehrig's. Lou Gehrig's, think of MS, think of Parkinson's. You can throw all those in the same. You're not going anywhere fast, and it's a losing battle. This poor gentleman is so bad, and I have an osteopathic friend like this, and I mentioned him before because he's one of the Lou Gehrig's cases I've just pulled my hair out. Mostly in Lou Gehrig's easier than MS, and you've seen some MS testimony there, and I'll throw more up as we go along. But this one case has been a hair puller. Now this gentleman's advanced. He's on a feeding tube. And, when you can't swallow and all that, then you put in a gastric or stomach feeding tube. No big deal. You've got to juice everything. You've got to put your herbs, everything right up. If you're on capsules, you just mix them in the juice and insert them right up your tube. You have to do that. There's no other way around it. It's not fun going up the rectum. The feeding tube is okay. This guy's pretty advanced, but I tell you something, I don't care how advanced a person is. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give you a negative until you tell me or until you pull yourself out of this. And so there's only one way this gentleman has to survive. And obviously he's a product of the allopathic community and where it's taken him. And I say that lightly because there's cases I can't win either. So, I don't mean that egotistically. But I can tell you early on this man would have had a good chance to overcome it. Early stages of everything is obviously so much easier to overcome. Later stages you're working really hard to do this. Obviously 100% raw is key on this case. And I mean this is a lot of fruit. They do mention the fact that, and I won't say it's a fact, that weight keeps a person alive and well. That's not true. On the other side here, I think he's on some type of Ensure or some type of crap like that. I know somebody is that was on this here. And this stuff is a chemist, those chemists that think that those things are healthy, you live on those things while we all live on fresh fruits and vegetables. Their commercials make me want to puke, where you have an Ensure bottle of nothing but chemicals and high fats and proteins, which is contraindicated to any kind of health. Any people that's been in a sedentary position like this gentleman, or like post-strokes and things that go on that, the lungs just fill with mucus, the sinuses with mucus all the time, and it's just that these are mucus-forming foods. Well, that's the lymph system. And the worst thing you can do in a sedentary position is increase lymphatic constipation. That's the worst thing you can do. A lot of people get bed sores. A lot of skin breaks down. I mean, these are acids, and the worst thing you can do is stagnate your lymph system in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, that's a system you have to get through to really find true remedy of nerve regeneration, whether it's autonomic, which is the adrenals, or the CNS, the central nervous system. This case you'd definitely hit with upper circulation formula, you would hit with brain and nerve formula, and you'd go right after those kidneys, right after those adrenals and endocrine glands. I would definitely go into the parathyroid gland, perk up the ability to utilize calcium. And I know some of you are down on me for glandulars. These are not suffering animals. These are desiccated tissues, and this gentleman right here is a good case where vital to have these to help pull them back up. At the same time, velvet antler ginseng's excellent as long as you can get the inflammation and all the acids out of him. Then you can get into that bone marrow, and you can really drive the cells with adaptogens and things, the things that really build and strengthen. And so, very important, this person in a high grape diet, but you can do the other fruits as well. Doesn't matter to him, he can't taste them anyway. So really go in and pound this raw foods into this gentleman and hit him with the herbs as well, and you'll turn this guy back on. This is a case where you might want to have us help him because he's definitely advanced here, and you want to try and get this guy back just as fast as possible. My friends, I would really go after this. If he lets you listen to this, this is your only chance, bro. There's no other point of anything in your condition. If it doesn't breed or give you any type of hope of regeneration, you're just waiting. And you know how you feel. I've had hundreds of your cases. I've had tons of quads and pairs, so I'm very familiar with where you're at. And there's only one way to rebuild it. It's the same way that MS case did. But it would be the same way that most cancer cases and other cases do, even though we're not here as a disease treater. That makes me want to throw up. This is one of the problems that keep people like you not finding your remedy. You know, you got to regenerate. You got to get to the core. You got to get to the cells. And the neurological system in man is the most difficult to regenerate, no question. But you have to understand physics and magnetics and the importance and difference between the magnetic level of fruits and even those of vegetables. I wouldn't even worry with vegetables right now. I mean, if you're so worried about weight, maybe put a green drink or two, but boy, I wouldn't worry about weight right now. If you have to, we can put some superfood blend down you and some other things, but you really got to move those lymphs, and you're in a catch-22 right now, and so you can work yourself out of this. I'm going to put a positive note on you and give you some hope, because I've seen people do this. And then I have this struggling osteopath that can't seem to do this. So I don't know. He's been holding pretty good for years, but you know what? I'd like to see more regeneration, that's for sure in this case. Miss Karen Rankin, you made some nice comments, and I thank you very much, sweetheart. Let's see. Your blood pressure's up now, and your lymph's starting to move. Good girl. You're kicking butt, honey. Good job. Good job. This individual has two big knots on the back of her heels, and she's got spurs, and she has a difficult time walking. They want to cut off her feet. No, not that far yet, but you know, I've heard of things like that. Sorry about that, but you know, I mean, sometimes they blaming her high arches to this. Okay, so you can do surgeries. The problem with these things, surgeries, where you have the potential, especially with bone spurs, they're going to grow right back. And that's because you're not looking at the remedy or the causative factors of this, honey. And for those of you that are listening to this case, what do you say? Are we going to call it the lymphatic system? What is the ankles? What is the feet? What are the legs? You know, they're limbs, but what are they? Bunch of cells and two fluids. Isn't that interesting how you can go everywhere and find just a bunch of cells and two fluids? Just cut a piece of tissue out and look under a microscope. Bunch of cells and two fluids. We might call it bone, we might call it tendon, we might call it muscle, we might call it skin. Okay. Bunch of cells and two fluids. Keep it simple. And of course that lymph system is why you get that. Remember, the lymph initiates calcium draw. and a calcium draw. That's because acids are more phosphorus. You're going to get a calcium draw. And when you get a calcium draw, you're going to have ionization, and you're going to have calcium deposits or bone spurs or stenosis go right down the line. You're really, and it doesn't matter if there's a factor of a viral involved or a bacteria involved, the bottom line has always been the lymph system. So when you go after that, you're going after virals and things, but you really are going after the causative factors. So get your kidneys fixed up, because that's the line you're having trouble with. Get the adrenals up, and watch these things come off of there. That's your only hope there to do that, other than surgery, and then you're still going to have the problem. Surgery doesn't remedy anything but the effect. It's sometimes essential, no question. You know, a big tumor in the breast, take it off. I'm serious. I've seen women try to the last minute, and then they don't make it, period. You know, if things get too big, then we need help. Here's one, Cushing's, easy, honey. You know, just go right down this same road that we're talking about right now. Get those kidneys moving. Get those adrenals on. Get that lymph moving. Get the bowels cleaned out. And this Cushing's will go right away for you, honey. Kellyanne. Okay, here's one. Let's see. 2 months, he's been 2 months on this, or doctors never really were able to tell me what was wrong with me. I've had numerous tests done on me to figure out why I have this pain and discomfort in my upper right abdomen. Upper right abdomen. Okay. I had a HIDA scan, is that what that's called? CAT scan of my upper right abdomen, stomach, emptying test, endoscopy, colonoscopy, ultrasound of my gallbladder twice, and blood tests. Through all the testing, this is what was found: enlarged spleen. All right, let's stop right there before we go on. Enlarged spleen. Now, of course, that's over here, but enlarged spleen. What would enlarge something? We call that hypertrophy. Enlargement. Hypertrophy. Enlargement. Now, what would enlarge things? Let's see. If you're nothing but a cells and two fluids, it could be the blood. You know, you got a lot more blood in this. No, that wouldn't be it, would it? Where are we at, guys? We're at the lymph again, and she's not moving her lymph system. Obviously, this is why they can't see it. This is common. You have the iris, you can see her lymph system, but I can tell you, her lymph system's backed up. In the first clue, enlarged spleen. What enlarges? What causes congestive heart failure? Pulmonary edema. Enlarged spleen. Lymph. Lymph, but this is acids. So in time, you'll break down your spleen. But the same thing's happening in your gallbladder and liver, or in your bowel wall. You can take your choice. You got your colon, you've got your liver, and you got your gallbladder. And then they removed your, well, you just want to remove their gallbladder because let's see here. Enlarged spleen, sluggish gallbladder, only 40% injection fraction, elevated bilirubin, and elevated cholesterol. Elevated cholesterol, let me see. What did we discover the cholesterol was? Yes, the body's main antacid. Well, wait a minute. We got a large spleen, high bilirubin, we got high cholesterol. What do we got? We got acidosis, right? We got it in the liver. That shows it right there. We have it in the spleen. That shows it right there. So we got a lymph not moving well, but wait, here's more. All right, that sounds like a commercial. I have swollen lymph nodes. Interesting, huh? And the doctors couldn't figure this one out. Oh, that's too bad. Also, I had the gallbladder removed, and it didn't fix my problem. Yeah, I bet it didn't. My sister had a lot of pain and discomfort in this area, and they thought it was the gallbladder and removed the gallbladder, and she put up with for about 10, at least 20 years. So she came down here one day. She's from Indiana. She came down here one day, and I watched her eat, and she ordered a steak. And she told the waiter, said, well, just throw it on the skillet and or on the grill, and just throw it on the grill, let it set for a little bit, and then throw it on the other side and let it walk out to me. You know, that makes me throw up to think of raw meat. And I just can't handle the smell of the meat section in grocery stores, let alone look at dead tissue with blood and everything. That just makes me throw up. But and yet I've seen a lot. I knew immediately she had tapes, and boy, we put her on the herbs, and she got out 3 large tapeworms. One head was so big, I figured it was at least at the Smithsonian, you know, at least 25, 30 footer. But she'd had them for, well, the pain had been going on for probably 30 years. So this is the sort of thing. Of course, you always deworm yourselves. Always deworm yourselves. Parasite G and M. Put yourself on a good deworming program. I don't care whose it is, and deworm yourself, especially wormwood and the like. But I can tell you that your lymph system, this is an easy understanding, honey. Easy. Who is this? This is Siobhan. So, sweetheart, this is easy to understand. You're just going to the wrong docs. These guys are, some of them just, you know, they're not educated to the level that you would expect that. So, anyway, this is your lymph system. Obviously, your lymph nodes are swollen. It's telling you right here what your problem is. That's acidosis. That's going to breed pain. But if you constantly have pain, you're breaking down tissue here. So, you got to be careful. You got to move your lymphs. I do a liver formula, no question. I'd probably do a spleen formula. Someone asked me about blood work. You know, you can always have your blood work sent to us, and I can look at it a little bit here and go over it with you if you don't mind me talking about it in front of people. Another thing you can do is go to an ophthalmologist, and I don't want a landslide of these, but you could go to an ophthalmologist and get a picture of your iris. And you don't have to have your pupils dilated. I don't want a picture of the pupil or retina. I just want a picture of the colored portion of your eye, and I can see everything there for you. However, this is an easy case to understand, honey. Your lymph system's backed up and it's chewing on you, but it's all in this area, and you probably have a little pancreatic swelling too, a little pancreatitis, even though they might not see it. You can't see acid chewing on tissue in a CAT scan. Oh, when that liver gets hard as a rock, you will. Oh, unbelievable. So don't worry about the phone consult affording stuff like that. Get on this diet. Lots of grapes. If you can afford any herbs whatsoever, don't put your money on talking to me. That's why I'm doing these videos. Put your money toward the herbs that'll help you. Whatever you can afford. Focus on your kidneys. Focus on your adrenals and your lymph. Those 3, number 1. You're also, I'm going to tell you, have to focus on your colon too, honey. You got to get into that colon. If you can afford it, add a liver formula, and then go down the road. The spleen will come unswell and everything else when you move your lymph. But then let's see what your platelets and things are. You might have to go after your spleen a little bit. Depends how long this has been going on in you. See, this is the problem. We'll just watch this. Oh, we can't find... I have people come in here all the time where the medical doctors say, oh, this is just in your head. Oh, yeah, I'm sure some of you have found that. Citizen 333. I like 333. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Alan Watts. Yeah. You know, I've read a lot of those. There was a couple other guys like Alan back in those days, you know. Modern day philosophers, if you will. And it's all good. You know, it's all good. I just can't. I've studied so many things in my life. Some things I remember, and some things I don't. I like J. Krishnamurti myself. Much more focused on the now and how to train yourself to develop that ability to be in the now. I really like this gentleman. Really good stuff. You either get it or you don't, and it's okay still. Here's Bones and Skin here. This is Urban Shaman. Woohoo! I love shamans, you know. I love anybody like that. Let's see, this person's had antibiotic around, and after that it developed a rash on his skin. After eating sugar and having sugar, of course, the rash comes forth. Now, what role does the skin play on the human body? Yeah. And keep in mind, your skin not only is your protective outer coating, it's your 3rd kidney. And if you understand your kidneys are involved in the elimination of cellular and parasitic waste, that would be important to understand then why we promote sweating. They used to say promote sweating so you can get the poisons out of the body. And but what poisons you're trying to get out? Yes, you're trying to get out acid waste. And this is why you see the skin break down. These acids, that's why bacteria in the body is vital. This idea of using antibiotics has been one of our biggest issues in suppressing the lymph system. You know, this is totally contrary to what a person should do. If you've got to use an antibiotic, you've got to go herbal because it's selective. Oh man, that means the Supreme Being is pretty smart. But your skin, and it goes back to your lymph system here again, my friend. But whenever they start using a lot of antibiotics on you, you know your lymph system's in trouble. That's your sewer system. And they have to get on. You're a 21-year-old male. Got a lot of stress in the family. You know, I like you because you're really perceiving this. You're going down this line. Talking about the parathyroid gland, your bones now hurt, and here's important here. Yes, I would get my parathyroid up. There's a Calma Plus formula by standard process. I would probably use that one. Get my parathyroid up, get my body utilizing calcium. The other thing here is your skin is really showing us that your lymph system's involved. You really want to move that because you don't want to break down bone tissue or get bone cancer and things like this and break down your bone marrow. So really want to move your lymph in an aggressive way for a while so your bones start feeling good again. But I think you're right with that parathyroid. You guys are good now. Really good. The hemorrhoids, you're identifying the right places, the connective tissue, the hemorrhoids, the fingernails. I really like that. Pituitary, well, yeah, I mean, you always have to consider the pituitary when you see the parathyroid. Sometimes I see a good thyroid, the people are warm and nice, everything's good, but the parathyroid is not giving you calcium utilization. That would definitely be an indication that the pituitary is probably involved. The pituitary can suppress parathyroid function and leave thyroid alone. The pituitary depending because this is really location, different parts of the adrenals, different tissues, different cells can be more involved than others, and this is tied into which ones are more genetically weak than others, and you know, tied into that whole understanding. Simple when you start to build the foundation, then you can stretch it a little bit and start looking at the individual cells, what they produce and things like that if you want. But I think you're right. Get in some upper circulation maybe, get your sinuses drained real good, you know, clean that upper thing, and remember probably your transverse colon here is involved as well. You have, and this is a good link, you're good, I like you're smart here. I also get sensations in my head and other problems with chest pains. Yeah, I mean, really, you want to move those bowels, get those cleaned up, separate your food so these pains aren't gas pains, you're digesting well, super chew your foods for a while, high fruit, low vegetables, definitely get up in here with some upper circulation. You need to really have a good cold and flu-like symptom, really drain that sinus out of there and get this inflammation out of there. Yeah, you could deduct it, possibly you're having some pituitary suppression of parathyroid. You could use a pituitary glandular. If you don't use glandulars, just suck down on all the berries because the berries are definitely endocrine gland specifics. In terms of herbs, Strigulus is good, but mostly you're going to go to the berries again. Let me see. I know this is a long detail. No, that's okay, my friend. Genetics, poor diet, use drug use, emotional baggage. Yeah, I mean, you know, your adrenals are down and your kidneys and stuff. So, you know, go after that. You know, just go after those areas. Now, you talked about organic produce. Now, you guys might be hard on me in some ways, but in the real world, you can't be perfect because we have a lot of poverty right now. So in the real world, people can't always buy organic. Where I'm at, you can't even get organic. The health food stores here, which are few, most of their organics are horrible and not worth the money. If you watch, Walmart carries organic grapes a lot of times. Places like that, we have a Publix here, HEB I think in Texas. These places, HEB, I know in Texas, for Full of Love, I think you're from Texas, they won't allow a certain level of pesticides on their foods. I'm familiar with HEB. But you got to do the best you can. Wash everything over the veggie wash or hydrogen peroxide and lemons. But don't use soaps or bleaches, please. But really wash your fruits and vegetables really well. If you can't get organic, don't let that stop you, especially if you don't have much money. You know, get some good food. I mean, I can tell you, our agricultural department's interesting. You know, America always goes like this. It's like Obama's doing that right now. Not me. I'm only sitting in the chair, but it's not me. Who is it then? You know, I mean, this is the thing. Some of these third world countries, I'm familiar with them. They don't have the money to go into chemicals. This country loves chemicals. We've loved chemicals so much, our cancer rate is skyrocketing, out of control. So, Jeremy, take off and you'll fix all this up, my friend. Get your sinuses drained. You can pop up the pituitary and parathyroid. Definitely, I'll help you. But move your lymph in case that bone pain is more lymphatic suppression on the bones. That would be very important. You're only 21 years old. You know you have weak adrenals and kidneys. Good take. You guys are watching. You're listening. You're getting good. I love it. Keep it up. I'll do one more because I've got a client this morning and I got to figure out how to pronounce your name. You have the most beautiful picture here. K-A-L, is that K-A-L or I-K-E? Or E-I-K-U? I love that name. Let's see. Don't be scared, sweetheart. You know what? We're here to help you. So don't be scared. I am contacting you because I have so many health issues from a mild fatty liver. Okay, a mild fatty liver. Now, what causes fats to accumulate in the body? Why would fats accumulate in the body? For no reason? Maybe you're eating too many of them? No. Acids. Acids. Remember, the lymph system is a lipid-based fluid. This is a lipid-based because lipids are antacids. Cholesterol is antacids. So I can tell you the fatty liver is showing that your lymph system isn't moving well in your liver. Well, if your lymph system, sweetheart, isn't moving well in your liver, where else isn't it moving well? Yeah, head to toe. Head to toe. So, sweetheart, you focus on your lymph system. I take it you're a female. If you're a male, I love you too, man. Unexplained, here's a borderline hypothyroid. Okay, perk it up. Perk it up. Again, lymph can suppress thyroid. Lymph suppresses functions of cells. I can just tell you, the lymph, blood doesn't suppress anything. The lymph is what suppresses the function of cells. So that's the key factor. Pop that up. You could be backed up in the lymph in the head. The same thing with Jeremy here. You could have a suppressed pituitary, things like that. But go after the body's health. Don't be afraid. Step into this. Your body's going to respond to where you take it. Your body's going to follow you where you take it. Okay? And you're going to take it down the road of Wellville. And this is true for this guy with Lou Gehrig's or anything. You've got to take your body where you want it, if you've got the time. Unexplained hypertension with dizziness. Now, this is a good one, guys, and I talked about this yesterday. I think it's going up today, but unexplained hypertension, that's this. That's swinging blood pressure. 1 minute it's up, next minute it's gone. What is that? She has associated dizziness. Right there is the answer. Cerebellum. This is all cerebellum here. Wait a minute, right here's the thyroid. We have cerebellum congestion here, maybe inflammation. We'll use the word inflammation. We know it's acidosis. We know when the lymph backs up, pressure builds up, and so that pressure is going to also, you're going to see some tight necks and shoulders, sweetheart, and that depends which side, which kidney's draining. So it's all about your kidneys and adrenal glands always, and moving that lymph even out of the brain here. Get this drained. Get your sinuses. It's suppressing your thyroid, maybe even your pituitary, but this is an easy catch. This is the cerebellum. This is flipping blood pressures like that. And the dizziness, that's your dizzy center, your equilibrium and vertigo center. So that's good. Weak digestion, can't digest vegetables and fruits. Well, super chew your fruits and get away from vegetables. And if you have to, juice your vegetables, super chew your fruit. Get your digestion going here. Put yourself on a pancreatic formula. Because if your liver's getting fatty, so's your pancreas. It might not be getting fatty, but it's inflamed. It's acidic. The lymph is backed up even there. Could be suppressing digestive enzymes and the like. So get that pancreas up there. Tight back and chest. Oh, there you go. Tight back and chest. That's your lymph. You're tight. Your lymph is locked in you, sweetheart. You've got to get that lymph moving. And easier said than done, but focus on those adrenals, focus on those kidneys, honey, and and the lymph system. So there's the formulas. Definitely get into the colon. Remember the Fab 4 we talked about. You can use that Fab 4. I'd also grab a liver formula and a pancreatic formula. To save money, you could do 1 bottle of liver, gallbladder, 1 bottle of pancreas, 1 bottle of liver, gallbladder, 1 bottle of pancreas, and walk yourself down that line. All fruit, chew, super chew, digest here more than down here, and work your pancreas back out of this. A lot of the liver herbs, however, will touch over and help the pancreas. Not really vice versa so much, but in a lot of the liver herbs will reach over and help the pancreas, so you'll be good in that way. Don't be scared here. You're real tight. You're real tight, but this is your lymph system, and this can become serious if you don't get this moving. These are acids. You're already lipid depositing from the fatty liver issue, but that'll come right out of there. You can fix all of this. Fix all of this. This is nothing. The radius solaris. Interesting that you mentioned that. Well, if you have radii solaris, these are black lines or dark lines that radiate out of either near the pupil or just in the bowel ring, just about a ½ inch or so around the pupil. These radius solaris are deep rings. There's no question about it. These are deep weaknesses. It generally starts in the colon, the transverse colon, and radiates in the brain, and it depends how far down the genetic line you are to how deep they are and how far in the brain they get. These radius solaris, if they get too deep, you can pick them up on a CAT scan as a brain lesion. So this is real important. You want to use upper circulation. You're in a genetic downline. Remember I said you young guys are in trouble here. So you just got to fix these things. That's all it is. Get into that colon. Really got to get into the colon. That's one of the connective links to the radius solaris. You'll notice they'll come right down on the bowel ring. And really get that out of you there. And you probably have one going right up into the cerebellum, probably more left than right, but who knows? Could be either side or both. But these are all fixable. This has nothing. They have nothing to do with leaky gut or parasitic invasion. I mean, that's some iridologist that hasn't thought outside the box. These are deep genetic weaknesses in cells, and have nothing to do with these parasites or leaky gut. Does mean you have some colon issues, no question, and also up in the brain. It depends how far those radii solaris radiate up into the 11 to 1 o'clock position in the eye. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, you go after this whole thing together. I've been to a few naturopaths that only stuck me on supplements. Don't tell me how to heal or diet, and I'm so frustrated. No kidding. That makes me sick about naturopaths. Now, even naturopathy has lost its way. That's why what I did is I took the principles of naturopathy, some of the principles of botanical medicine, and I lumped them into a program of wellness, of health programs that regenerate the body, and got people away from this ridiculous concept of diseases and supplements and things like this. And people don't have the money to even focus there, and it's a waste of time. And I've tried to get naturopaths, but they're the least people that come to me. Believe it or not, in my school, they're the least. I get more medical doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists than I ever do naturopaths to my school. Get some, but not many. She's been in the ER every month because of her hypertension that jumps. You can't control this one, sweetheart. This is all about lymph pressure. There's not a thing you can do, and you don't want to take high blood pressure medications, maybe in a PRN, meaning when needed, but you wouldn't take a high blood pressure medication, a beta blocker, calcium channel blocker. If you're normal, then you'll really bunch yourself into hypotension. No, this is pressure in the cerebellum. You might see a little bit in the kidneys too from that, but boy, you're seeing a lot of it in the cerebellum. That's an easy pick on that. She's lost a lot of money seeking help from holistic practitioners. That's the sad. Like I said, there's a lady up there. Her first appointment is $800. Mine is 2, unless you come in, it's $2.50 because I do your eyes and stuff. But if you call her for a question, it's $50. $50 to ask you a question? I think I'm in the wrong, I'm doing this wrong. Who's that guy that said I was a capitalist here a while back? You said I haven't got $100 for any time you view these. Maybe you quit viewing them. You know, we try. You know, we really scrape and try to help everybody. Thank God we do these herbs ourselves, and we can keep their costs down and that. And because I'm sick every day for 8 months, now giving birth, oh, my husband and my children suffering. Yes, I'm here to help you, sweetheart. You live in Hawaii, and you don't need to find an iridologist, but you can find an ophthalmologist. An ophthalmologist, most of them can take a picture for me. I get a lot of pictures from ophthalmologists. You don't need to dilate the pupil, anything like that, and send me your iris and I'll go over it. But I can tell you, you've got to get your lymph moving. I don't care what the iris shows about what tissues are involved. This is how you get rid of fatty livers. This is how you get rid of all the tightness and stuff. This is how you pull the lymph out of the brain and how you get remedy, how you get stable again, all these things. If you're compromised with this radius solaris, meaning that these are deep genetic weaknesses, this is why you're focusing on regeneration of tissue. And I've said this over and over again. This is where man has to come to. Can't treat anymore. There's nothing. You spent so much money treating yourself and you're still in the same boat you were. And that's because their focus is totally somewhere off of this planet. So really, thank you so much. My next client should be here, so I'm going to have to cut this video short. But I'm going to catch up. I got some awful good cases here to go over with you guys, and I will do that if I have a no-show this morning, which happens because we're so far backed up. Sometimes we get that. Then I'll be able to finish this video and to get caught up here. But for now, all you I address there, go after your health issues. Don't be scared. You know, we're here to help you. Don't freak out. You'll be okay, and we'll get you back into a state of health again. How about that? All right. You guys have fun today. Bye-bye. Well, guess what? I have a no-show again this morning, so we can go on down the line here. Excuse me. We can go on down the line and cover some of these cases. This is another one from Dano. Work outside, outdoors in New York, and tips on staying warm this winter. Whoa, Dano. Whew. Gosh, you know what? Thank God I'm not in your shoes. I was born and raised in Indiana. Came to Florida all the time because Dad built a house down here in the 50s. I tell you what, I hated that cold and snow and getting frostbite. I can only tell you that those times you might do some steamed vegetables. I don't think you're going to be able to stay all on fruit. I suppose if you had a good thyroid moving around, but I don't know. You know, I had a difficult time. I was down here when I was all on fruit. But that would be the herbal tea time, you know, herbal teas, warm soups, vegetable soups, no cooked tomatoes, that kind of thing, or steamed vegetables, and kind of do as much fruit as you can, and then shift to the vegetable or steamed vegetable line. I think this was the problem when you look at man's migration into these more hostile environments. And I say hostile in the sense to his physiology. We've adapted, and the word adaptation is obvious, but at the expense of our health. So when you say, well, we've adapted, sure, we've adapted at the expense of our health. So when you're taking someone that lives up north and they've lost their health from the diets that you generally are polarized to, you get well. So I don't know how to help you too much other than that. Really a struggle, my friend. Now, this is your interest. This was Rossum. Let's see, Rossumly. Interest in a Chinese on bone marrow. I should have got that for you. That's a health concerns. You might Google them, health concerns, got a good formula there. The problem in botanicals, I'm not sure what herbs are great for bone marrow. Because the bone marrow, all this, again, bunch of cells. To be honest with you, I like the velvet antler, the adaptogens for that. But look up health concerns. The formula is called Marrow Matters. Marrow Matters. There's no books that I know of that in terms of botanical work, and I've been to about 4 herbal colleges, and I'm studying probably 3 or 4 currently. And I really haven't read of any herbs that are specific for bone marrow. I don't know that we know that. If we do, that's good. You can turn me on to it then. But again, I think if you think of the health of the cell and you realize the blood and lymph, I think it doesn't matter what cell you're talking about. That's how simple I think this is. It's nice to have these herbs, though, that really kick up the function of cells, and I think the adaptogen herbs are going to be real key here in doing that. That's why I like the, I have an ultimate immune, and that ultimate immune I consider very bone marrow-ish. And especially as for this gentleman that has Lou Gehrig's, I'd be pumping that ultimate immune down because of the ginsengs and the velvet antler. At the same time, it's a little expensive because antler is quite expensive by itself. I have a bottle here, and I think this bottle of antler goes for $80 or $90. And it's just that, this is a technique that people raise deer or elk, and in the velvet stage of the antlers, they cut that and use that antler stage. They don't hurt the animals, but in terms of regeneration of tissue, it's quite good, and doesn't any effect that we know of negatively on the animals. I only have a couple of those things like that I use. But when I see people in wheelchairs, and I'm thinking, okay, I cut a little bit of an antler off, which doesn't hurt anybody, and yet I can really rebuild the nervous system and help these people out of chairs, I'm going to go with helping these people out of chairs. Now, I know it's their karma and blah, 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 but my karma is to be here and assist them to unwind their karma. Here's a 23-year-old female. She does honey and royal jelly. She's a strict vegetarian. Good girl. 80% raw. That's good. She was 100% raw for a short time, and her MD said she had phosphate or phosphorus deficiency. You know what? I don't go by blood work when it's low proteins and things like that. It's common with this. When you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're getting the proper ratio of phosphorus that you need. If you got something antagonistic to phosphorus in your body, then you'd want to detox your body and get that out of there. And this is the problem with isolating chemistry. If you took a lot of calcium supplements, or you're taking calcium supplements, it's antagonistic to phosphorus. Even though the phosphorus is the little brother, too much calcium or magnesium pushes out phosphorus. So don't isolate chemistry. This is why I don't isolate chemistry. But fruits and vegetables has the proper ratio of phosphorus to cal to mag to all the other brothers and sisters. So you can't be deficient in phosphorus if you're eating fruits and vegetables. I've never ever seen that. On a blood work, you might see some up and downs with that, but look at what else you're doing and taking, what supplements, and get rid of the supplements, because I see nothing here. Now, we could be back to the adrenals and kidneys again here. You see this a lot in dialysis, where the phosphorus and potassium go crazy, and then they give you phosphorus binders and that crap, but that's dialysis, acid stripping the blood. So it's common to have lower proteins on a vegetarian diet. Okay, but I wouldn't sacrifice your diet with what they told you to eat, because you know what they told you to eat, and you know that's not healthy. But I wouldn't sacrifice your diet with what they told you to eat, because you know what they told you to eat, and you know that's not healthy. So you could have some other antagonistic chemistry inside of you that's pushing out your phosphorus, and I would keep detoxifying myself, power up with the green drinks then, and go on down the line there. Soda, high phosphorus. You know what happens when you do high phosphorus? Bye-bye calcium. So you play this game like this. All right, bring up your phosphorus, there goes your calcium and magnesium. Bring up your calcium, magnesium. Oh, wait a minute, there goes my phosphorus. And this is a game you can't win. I'm a biochemist. I played this game for years, and it's like, whoa, wait. No, don't work. It will never work. I don't care who thinks they're as smart as they are. Let's see. Didn't you have a hard time, do I remember, with your family? Your ferritin levels are sky high. Now, that could be antagonistic to phosphorus, you know. But again, I would clean up my adrenal glands and clean out my liver and clean my spleen too. I'd clean the spleen, the liver, and get the adrenals up, and all that will balance out there. I stopped taking my prescription of iron. Oh, well, here we go. You know, see, this is the problem with this. Dealing in iron, you're dealing in the adrenal glands, believe it or not. Clean the spleen, because that cleans the blood. Clean the liver up, and get your blood cleaned back into shape. We got a good blood formula, but clean the liver, the spleen, get your adrenals working, and all this will come into balance. This is why you can't isolate chemistry, and particularly iron, toxic if you're not careful. So, iron chelator. Still, that might be causing the low phosphorus. You got to be real careful with using chemistry to get the body healthy, because man doesn't have that kind of brain. And you can see from the lady before, it's been naturopath, and this I see constantly. For those naturopaths that are listening, you got to get with this, because you're giving everybody a bad name by using supplements. Can't do that. Doesn't work. I get all your clients in here with bags of their supplements, and they're bitching about the high dollar they spent with you, and they're still in the same boat. So that's not true naturopathy. True naturopathy is what we're doing here. And that's what you want. That's the purest form of healing on the planet. That's the top of the mountain. And that's where you want to be today. That's where you get your reputations. Let me help you get your reputations up there. She's done so. I'm feared I've done so much damage already, according to my doctors. Relax, sweetheart. Relax. Relax. Take control. You've been disempowered by these doctors. Grab control. Empower yourself. You know the answer. Start letting God, the diet, nature, whatever you want to call it, let that do. Get that good chemistry into the body. Botanicals, full of good chemistry, but they're specific in their focus. Learn what problems man suffer with. The adrenals, the kidneys. And the adrenals, that's where most of your minerals are utilized. So go into your adrenals and make them healthy, whether you use the adrenal herbs or you use adrenal glandulars. It depends how low your blood pressure's been. To what you need. When you get in these chronic low blood pressures, it isn't easy to get these back up here. That's why we look to a little help from our friends that we don't hurt, you know. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, you've got to empower yourself, Rossumley, and get yourself back in line here. I guess I'm confused and really want to speak to someone who specializes in bone marrow and blood-related disorders from a naturopathic point of view. Well, you are. And I can just tell you that health is so much simpler, sweetheart, than this, than what you've been doing. And obviously what you've been doing hasn't been working, so get off of that road. Going down the wrong road. You want to get on the road of wellness and regeneration and healing and health and vitality. So you got to think cellular. If you get too much of the chemistry, you end up like you. You've been yanked here, yanked there, and your chemistry in your body is the same way. Yanked here, yanked there. We can't play that game because of antagonistic chemistry. Meaning when we take iron, we shove everybody else around. Can't do that. You can't take calcium, shove everybody else around. You can't take these chelations where you have a lot of minerals. You start unbalancing body chemistry. And so one thing I teach in my school, taking supplements unbalances the body's chemistry. When you take chemistry in its whole form, like you're doing with royal jelly and honey, but do it with alfalfa and the greens, do it with the fruits and the berries, then your body will find its own homeostasis. At the same time, your focus is where it needs to be at the cellular level. Because at the bottom line, the cell is the bottom line. The health of that cell, whether it's an adrenal cell, a thyroid cell, no matter what that cell produces, a particular steroid, a particular hormone, a particular neurotransmitter, the bottom line, that cell's health is what you're after. That is the ultimate, that's where the buck stops, is at the cell. Well, how do you make the cell healthy? You know, well then the next question to that one is, what breaks down a cell? Well, there's only two major fluids that touch every cell in the body, and there's only two sides to chemistry. It's that simple. And if you try to go too far out of that box, you'll get confused and you can't get yourself back. So relax, take it easy, you'll be fine. Just get yourself empowered. Empower yourself, sweetheart. You're awesomely. Empower yourself to be strong and go after this. And with our help, you'll go right down that line and you'll get it here. That's why I'm doing these videos, to empower you to go and get yourself well again. Doing good. Pump some green drinks. If you want some iron, pump some green drinks. But your utilization of iron is more the factor. So clean the blood. Get those enzymes. That'll pull those red blood cells apart. Get those adrenals up. That'll get the utilization of iron. It'll build up the hemoglobin, hematocrit. Clean the spleen. Clean the liver. Get that lymph moving. Get those kidneys clean. And you got it. See? Piece of cake. Water full of love. You're a good dude, man. Good dude. Thanks for the comment about the fam. Well, they weren't so happy I pulled it on them because everybody wanted to be pretty and fixed up, but I got them. Drew wasn't here, so we shot him a little earlier because he had to go up. His dad's not doing well, but he's back in town again. I got him. I told them I was going to do it. If they weren't going to do it, I was going to do it. So sorry for the, you know, on the spot type of thing like there. Let's see. This HPV virus and stuff like that, let's get rid of the concept that viruses are going to terminate our lives and just detox them out of the body. Remember what we talked about viruses before, is the condition of the cell is everything to what a virus does. The weaker the cell, the more attachment you're going to see of a viral to that cell. That's nature, though. Remember, we talked about magnetics is everything. When you're bubbling full of energy and strength, nobody messes with you. They feel your strength. They feel your knowingness. They feel your power. When you're weak and everything seems to pick on you. You notice that? It's like in nature. If you're weak, some buzzards are going to be picking on you. And this is true here. When you're emotionally weak, there's going to be somebody take advantage of you. You know, this is the way it is. Man just polarizes to weaknesses and plays on people's weaknesses. So empower yourself. Get yourself strong. Remember, you're the core issue of everything that happens in your world. You are the golden key that unlocks all the doors. Nobody else. You can read all the books. You can do everything you want. But in reality, you are the golden key to everything in your life and what you experience. And I'm trying to give you little tidbits to help you get centered and empowered, and where you're not a victim of the mind, the ego or id, or the emotions. You're separate from that. And this karmatic bond that you have with all these ball and chain experiences or conditions that you're linked to will melt away, and then you will be free. Athlete's foot. Well, what do we got here? A little fungal problem? You know, go after the fungus in the body, but always go after the lymph system. Remember that commercial on Lamisil where the little fungal guy, he lifts up the toe and then he jumps in the toe, and here's all the other little fungi playing with the, what is it, the sewage? All right, I thought that was a good commercial. That's sewage. That's the lymph system. And of course, you will not totally be successful in just trying to kill fungus in the body until you remove their playground, but also then remember that they're generally involved because of high starch sugar diets and weak adrenal glands that are blocking proper metabolism of the sugars. So work on your adrenals, your kidneys, that's your lymph system anyway. Clean yourself. This is true with the jock itch and rashes and everything else. Fungus in the nails and toenails. Then move your lymph. Easy stuff to get rid of when you do all that. Real easy. Can't just treat it. Can't just put something on it, because where's it going? And there's plenty of them in there. Talking about a little dog here, 1.5 years of age, has seizures. I have an antispasmodic. I definitely give that dog. I probably would give a little Calma Plus. That's a little parathyroid gland, but I would give a little bit of that, maybe a half a pill or something. It's got a little CalMag in there just to boost that up in case that dog's having a little parathyroid. I don't know this species has that, but each species has their own weaknesses. You ever notice a species that drains from the eyes here? Those are kidney weaknesses. So when you see those things, those are kidney and adrenals, and you see those more emotional dogs and stuff. I mean, every dog has each line has its own set of weaknesses. The hip dysplasias, the like you see in parathyroid problems here. You see this in all animals. We keep taking all these animals down this road like we are us. So I would definitely do that. I think this is a dog, right? You vegetarian, no question. If it's a dog, it's a vegetarian. You got to make it a omnivores can be vegetarians, and they do better. Just keep that in mind. Have to get a vegetarian for a while, it'd be better. Definitely get the antispasmodic. That'll help the seizures right there. And you can even get brain and nerve to strengthen that, but I would look at the calcium-related things. Get them off of proteins, because that's going to leach more calcium out of them, and that's going to exacerbate seizures. All right, so try that and see how you work out there, Karen Rankin. Thanks for all your comments, too. I hope we can help you with that. Tinnitus, yes. I mean, get that body cleaned up, get that draining. I remember a fellow once, I was in a Ford dealer, I think it was, and I was looking at the cars, and it wasn't a Mercedes-Benz dealer, but it was a Ford dealer probably, and I was looking at some cars, and this old man was talking to a salesman. He was saying, I hear all this music and all this in my head, and even the hum and the sound of crickets, and they've done everything to me, and I can't get rid of it. So I kind of walked over to him and I said, did you ever think that was the movement of spirit or God through you? And he just kind of looked at me like I was really somewhere from outer space. But if you listen, you will hear. And each level that you're listening to has different forms of music, from the single note of the flute to orchestrated type music. As spirit moves, it sings, and you can listen. But also pressure is one in a physiological viewpoint. Lymph pressure and things, nerve weakness can exacerbate this kind of thing, like the heartbeat and everything, but really get all that out of you. But you learn to be a listener, and I'm a listener, so I hear. That's why I have to live in a remote area and have peace and quiet, because I hear everything. I try to listen on the inner, but I also listen on the outer. I'm trying to live totally in the now, and the noise pollution on this planet is like no other. Most people don't think of noise pollution. There was a park ranger talking to a news broadcaster one day about noise pollution. He was way out in Mayberry Upper Canada or somewhere, and it was so quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and I'm going, oh, nirvana. Angel Light, my dear. But I also listen on the outer. I'm trying to live totally in the now, and the noise pollution on this planet is like no other. Most people don't think of noise pollution. There was a park ranger talking to a news broadcaster one day about noise pollution. He was way out in Mayberry Upper Canada or somewhere, and it was so quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and I'm going, oh, nirvana, you know. Angel Light, my dear. Constipation even with plant food. Some people get constipated on vegetables. A lot of fiber. Probably the adrenals, low autonomic nerve response for peristalsis. We'll check into that. Clean up my bowel wall. You could be interstitially, lymphatically constipated in the wall, which is making that sluggish nerve response and sluggish muscle contraction there with that. But definitely get up your adrenals and clean the gut out there. Let's see here. Struggling with alcohol. Burn the alcohol off if you want to. You can go to the capsules, but burn the alcohol off. Unfortunately, it's the only way I can get 98% of the plant to you. I can't do it with glycerin or alcohol. So until I find another menstruum that can take the oil soyables out of the plant, we're stuck with that. But it's been distilled for 30 days, 55-ton press. That alcohol is an extremely nutritive and energetic and focused alcohol, if you had to say it was still a type of alcohol. Let's see. You have a stone in the gallbladder. Yeah, stay raw and it'll reduce that stone out of there. Then you can do a liver gallbladder. Most of these cholesterol bile stones in the gallbladder are soft in the first place. Some are larger, but I've never had anybody really get one lodged in the bile duct. But definitely go on a month or two raw foods. Take the liver gallbladder formula, stuff like that, and then give yourself a liver gallbladder flush, and it'll come out of there. The lemon in the morning, good thinking, that's perfect. Dandelion, perfect thinking, honey. I'm supportive of a liver flush, but like I said, do about a month or two raw and take the liver gallbladder formula, get your kidneys, get your lymphs moving, and you only have small stones then. Oh yeah, Karen Rankin, hallelujah. Yeah, I'm going to give you a big hallelujah too. I tell you, you guys, I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing so well. It's fun, isn't it? I mean, it's fun to be detectives. I'm teaching you all how to be practitioners, if you haven't noticed. I really would like to see those of you that really have that inner love and light and really want to go help others, help yourselves, and then go out, lose the fear, get knowledged up, get strong, and go forth. And you'll do well. And thanks for the comment on Chris. Everybody, Drew really likes a good feedback. He's a good kid. He's trying, he does his health issues, but he's doing well. And these guys love to hear good feedback. I'm going to give this to Chris because they all do well here and they all try hard, I think we have a pretty good crew here. It seems like God spins those off that have egos here and things. They come in and then they're shot right off, But over 50% divorce rate in Dallas, huh? Yeah, I lived in Corpus Christi for a while. Yeah, I know. I think one day marriage will be antiquated. People are not getting married as much, and it's like, why? It's a legal contract. That's the problem with marriage. It's a legally binding contract. That's why you have to go to a judge to get a divorce. It's not like a bond between two people. When you get a marriage certificate, it's a legally binding contract. I mean, my God, it's interesting how in law we've done all this to us ourselves. But stay free, and everybody will enjoy each other better. I don't like the institution of marriage too much. We like those emotional bonded commitments. Well, those are oftentimes your ball and chain. If someone loves you, they love you for who you are, and they enjoy the freedom that you give them to be them, and you enjoy the freedom they give you to be you, and it makes you bond at a much higher level. So it's easier to find spiritual women than it is for women to find spiritual men. I've been in spiritual groups. Like I said, I was in Eckankar for a lot of years, and there was a lot of, good spiritual women. There's a lot of great spiritual women here, and there's some good spiritual guys. But oftentimes it's harder for women to find a good spiritual dude than it is for a man to find a spiritual lady. But, it's getting better out there that way. You have to find someone that's like-minded. I'll tell you, it makes the road real hard if you don't. That's all I can say. Yeah, I like someone with values too. Hard to find that nowadays. Okay. Yeah, I went over the knots on the hill. Okay, you know what? I got it. Oh, I can't believe that. Let me see if I got over this. I think I did this already. Upper right abdomen. Yep, I did that. Can you believe that we got through all your questions? Now, if I have some that I haven't got to, and you feel I left you out, I deeply apologize. And write them again, because I have so many here that it's possible I overlooked them. And I didn't mean to. But you guys go out and have fun today. Empower yourself. Stay empowered. Enjoy the joy and ecstasy and bliss of yourself and your interaction with all life, which is the supreme being in action. And I will talk to you again soon. So thank you for listening to these videos again. I hope they're helpful to you. And don't get scared. Don't suffer. Relax. It's just going to be a little journey to get your body back, but you'll get your body back, okay? Just to relax. And for the man with Lou Gehrig's, man, you really hang in there. It's going to be a journey back, but hang in there. And if you can get that body back, you will. But you've got to get focused on regeneration. All right. To you all, have a fun day, and thank you again for watching the videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.